Hello, hi everyone. I'm Sandhya. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss about the chapter Taxonomy of Angiosperms. Angiosperms means flowering plants. Means the seeds are enclosed in the fruit. Angiosperms. What about taxonomy? As we have studied earlier, taxonomy is a branch of biology or branch of botany which deals with the characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of the plants. If you say plant taxonomy, the plants. If you say just taxonomy, then it is just the characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of living organisms, like that. So what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is a branch of study or branch of science or botany which deals with characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of plants. If you say plant taxonomy, classification of plants into various groups, taking the information from different fields of botany. So plant taxonomy is a branch of science or botany which deals with the characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of plants. Characterization means what are they actually, whether they are flowering plants, non-flowering plants, whether they are they're algae or fungi, like that. Then identification, correct identification. Yes, what is this? Yes, it's a flowering plant, like that. The nomenclature, the naming, the scientific name, the biological name, then botanical name, classification. They're classified into different groups. So into what group it belongs, like that. It's nothing but the plant taxonomy. The term taxonomy was coined by A.P.D. Candolle. And father of taxonomy is Carl Linnaeus. Then this particular taxonomy is of many types of taxonomies are there. If you talk about alpha taxonomy is a taxonomy where we are going to take only the morphological characters. The special emphasis is there on the morphological characters of the plants. So if you are taking only the morphological characters, if you are characterizing the plants, the taxonomy purely based on the description of morphological characters is called as alpha taxonomy. Then nowadays so much of advancement has occurred. So a new taxonomy has came into existence called as omega taxonomy, where we are going to gather the information from different branches of science, different branches of biology, like for example embryology, cytology, palynology means we are going to do the characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of the plants by taking the information from other branches like embryology, cytology, palynology, and phytochemistry, serology, etc. These are the other branches of biology. We are going to gather information. At the same time, apart from means along with the morphological characters, along with the morphological characters, along with the morphological characters. We are also going to gather the information from other branches of botany or biology, embryology, cytology, palynology, phytochemistry, serology, along with the morphological characters. So Omega taxonomy is an advanced taxonomy where we are going to gather the information from other sources like embryology, cytology, palynology, phytochemistry, serology, etc. From criteria apart from morphological characters. This is about Omega taxonomy. Then coming on to another thing, plant systematics. Plant systematics is same as that of plant taxonomy only, but the difference is that here we are going to take plant systematics is same as that of taxonomy, but here we are going to take the information about the phylogenetic relationship or evolutionary relationships. It is the study which deals with the history and diversity of the plants with their phylogenetic relationships, with their evolutionary relationships. That particular study is called as history and diversity of plants and evolutionary relationships. Relationships among them. Okay, the study which deals with the history and diversity of plants and evolutionary relationships among them is called as plant systematics. Same characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of plants. At the same time, the evolutionary relationships are taken into consideration. Such type of study is called as plant systematics. So plant taxonomy is a part of plant systematics, but here you can see plant systematics in deeply we are going to study about the evolutionary relationships of the plants. So this is about the plant taxonomy and plant systematics. Now coming on to the different systems of classification. So different systems of classification. So taxonomy means characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification of the plants. So the classification of the plants from earlier civilization it is done. The classification of the plants is done mainly based on the similarities, based on the interrelationships, based on the structural similarities and interrelationships. The classification is done, and earlier they used to classify based on the economic uses like for food, medicine, timber, like that. Based on the economic uses, they used to classify the plants. Then also based on the gross structural relationships also, they used to classify the plants. By taking into consideration of gross structural relationships also, the plants were classified into herbs, shrubs, and trees. So like that, many classifications were done. So what they did, so all the systems proposed from the beginning are grouped into three types based on the criteria followed for classification. So based on the criteria followed for classification, all the systems from the beginning were divided into three systems. Okay, three systems of classification are there. What are they? Three systems of classification are there. The first system is artificial. The second one is natural. The third one is phylogenetic system of classification. These are the three system of classification. Okay, so first we are going to study about artificial system of classification. So artificial system of classification, it is the earliest system. Old system or primitive system where is mainly based on the gross morphological characteristics, where the classification of the plants is based on gross structural morphological characters were taken into consideration. Morphological characters were taken into consideration for classification of plants anamata. Like for example, habit, color, okay, habit, color, number and shape of the leaves. Number, shape of the leaves, etc. were taken into consideration for classification of plants anamata. The gross morphological characters were taken for classification. So what is happening? What is happening? All the related plants were grouped under different. All the related plants were grouped under different groups, and unrelated plants were grouped under same group. And also in this, the natural system, the natural relationship of the plants has been missing anamata. That particular is not taken into consideration in this artificial system of classification. And one useful thing is that by taking the unknown one, by seeing the morphological characters, we can identify that plant. But here the natural relationship is not mentioned, is not recognized, and all the unrelated plants are grouped under one group, and related plants are grouped under different groups. That was a drawback of this particular artificial system of classification. So earlier, who followed this type of classification means first Theophrastus followed this particular system of classification 370 BC to 285 BC. So he followed this artificial system of classification, and based on habit, he classified the plants into herbs, shrubs, and trees. So this was described in his book called as Historia Plantarum. So in his book, Theophrastus, 370 to 285 BC, he wrote a book called as Historia Plantarum. In his book, he classified the plants based on the habit. He classified the plants into herbs, shrubs, and trees. Okay, he was the first one. Then Linnaeus also followed the artificial system of classification by taking the the superficial morphological characters. By taking the gross superficial morphological characters, he also classified the plants. He also classified the plants into 24 groups. 24 groups on the basis of number, length, union of stamens and carpels. So he also has taken the morphological characters, but what he has taken the vegetative and sexual characters. By taking the vegetative and sexual characters, he classified the plants into 24 groups. By taking into consideration of number, length, and union of stamens and carpels, he classified anamata. But there was a drawback. What is the drawback? The vegetative characters are going to change according to the environment. They are not stable anamata. They are going to vary. They are going to vary according to the environment. So vegetative characters are not stable, as they get affected more easily by the environment. So his classification also was having a drawback. This is about the artificial system of classification. Now coming on to the natural system of classification. In natural system of classification, the natural relationships were taken into consideration. In artificial, the natural relationship was not taken into consideration. But here, in natural system of classification, the natural relationship was taken into consideration. And here, mostly the morphological characters were taken into consideration. Here also morphological characters, but mostly they concentrated on morphological characters only where they were taken into consideration. but they concentrated on the floral characters. They concentrated on the floral characters because they are stable and they are not going to change according to the environment. Whereas the artificial one, they concentrate on the vegetative characters. But here in the natural system, they concentrate on the floral characters which are not going to change according to the environment. And they were classified into first few big groups, little bit smaller groups, then little bit smaller groups, till the smallest taxa or smallest group species is obtained. Okay, first they're classified into bigger groups, then into smaller groups, then again subdivided into still more smaller groups, then last smallest taxa species is obtained. Like that they have divided in matter. They have taken floral characters into consideration. And here also a small drawback is that here evolutionary relationships or evolutionary importance was not taken into consideration. That was a drawback. But still, it was easy means of identification of plants and matter. So this particular system of classification was followed by Bentham and Hooker. They followed the natural system of classification. 1893. And they followed the natural system of classification and they wrote a book called as Genera Plantarum. So whatever classification he made, that classification is called as Bentham and Hooker classification of flowering plants. Let us learn about that one. So Bentham and Hooker system of classification of flowering plants is a natural system of classification where the much importance is given to the floral characters. So Bentham and Hooker system of classification of flowering plants. Bentham and Hooker's classification of flowering plants, which is a natural system of classification. So how they classified? They classified the flowering plants into three main groups, that is polypetalae, I'm extremely sorry. They classified the flowering plants into dicotyledonnae, gymnospermae and monocotyledonnae. So these are the three classes made by Bentham and Hooker classification. Dicotyledonnae, the series having two cotyledons, monocotyledons, single cotyledon, like that. Then this dicotyledonnae is again divided into three subclasses. That is Thalamiflorae. So this is a class anamata. These are the subclasses. Thalamiflorae, then Disciflorae, and wait a minute. First Bentham and Hooker classification, the flowering plants were divided into dicotyledonnae, gymnosperm and monocotyledonnae. Okay, then this dicotyledonnae is again divided into polypetalae, then gamopetalae and monoclamidae. Then this particular these are the subclasses. Okay, be careful, no confusion at all. First, flowering plants were divided into three classes: dicotyledonnae, gymnosperm and monocotyledonnae. And dicotyledonnae class is divided into subclasses: polypetalae, gamopetalae, monoclamidae. And this polypetalae subclass is divided into again three series, that is Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae calciflorae. Okay, calciflorae. Okay, then this Thalamiflorae is divided into 6 cohorts, or you can call them as orders also. Then Disciflorae is divided into 4 cohorts. 4 cohorts. The Calciflorae is again divided into 5 cohorts. 5 cohorts. Okay. So this is about polypetalae, where the petals are free. So based on the free petals, they are divided into Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae, and Calciflorae. These are series. The series are again divided into cohorts. Cohorts are nothing but orders. Then Gamopetalae. This particular Gamopetalae is again divided into 3 series. Inferae, Heteromerae, Inferae, Heteromerae, and Bicarpellate. Means here the petals are fused. Then inferior, inferior ovary. Heteromerae, so there is a distinguish between the petals and sepals. Then bicarpellate, there are two carpels present. So inferior is having 3 cohorts. Inferior is having 3 cohorts. The heteromerae is having 3 cohorts. 3 cohorts. Then bicarpellate is having 4 cohorts. Bicarpellate is having 4 cohorts. This is about the Gamopetalae. Here this monoclamidae is not divided. It is divided into 8 series. It is divided into 8 series, but there are no cohorts. There are no orders for monoclamidae. For monoclamidae. Then monocotyledonae is again divided into 7 series. This is again divided into 7 series. Okay, this is again divided into 7 series. 7 series, and they are not divided into cohorts. No cohorts here. There are no cohorts. Then there are no cohorts here. Okay, so be careful. Okay, there's lots of confusion, but you have to be very careful and clear, crystal clear. Okay, so classes dicotyledonate, gymnospermae, monocotyledonate. The classes are divided into subclasses. Subclasses are divided into series. Series are divided into cohorts. Only dicotyledonate is much more difficult. Okay, but it's easy only. Polypetalae, Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae, Calciflorae, Gamopetalae, Inferior, Heteromerae, Bicarpellate. Here it is divided into 8 series. 8 series. Then these series are divided into cohorts like this. Then monocotyledonate is divided into 7 series, and there are no orders. Okay. Cohorts are again divided into orders and matter. Okay. So total overall there are about 222 natural orders. 222 natural orders, among which 165 belong to dicotyledonate. 165 belong to dicotyledonate. Then 3 belong to gymnospermae. And 34 belong to monocotyledonate. 34 belong to monocotyledonate. 34 belong to monocotyledonate. Total 202 natural orders are there. And remember, cohorts were further divided into natural orders. Okay, so class, subclass, series, cohorts, and cohorts are again divided into natural orders. Okay, this is about the natural system of classification. Which was followed by Bentham and Hooker. Coming on to phylogenetic system of classification. The third one is phylogenetic system of classification. In phylogenetic system of classification, the classification is mainly based on the genetic and evolutionary relationships among the taxa. So So third one is phylogenetic system of classification. System of classification. Mainly based on the genetic and evolutionary relationships, the plants are classified into among the taxa. The plants are classified. Here, the primitive and advanced characters are recognized, and how the evolution has occurred in the plants. All are taken into consideration. The evolution can be progressive, it can be retrogressive. So in detail you will study in zoology. Okay, it can be progressive, it can be retrogressive. And this type of classification is followed by Youngler and Plantel. And they have written a book called as Naturalization, Plants and Families. So Familien. So this was the book written by Youngler and Plantel, where they have followed the phylogenetic system of classification of plants. Then 87 to 1893. Then Hutchinson also followed the phylogenetic system of classification recently, 1954, and he has written a book called as Families of Flowering Plants. And these are the examples. These are the two examples of phylogenetic system of classification. Right now, the latest phylogenetic system of classification is APG, phylogenetic system of classification, which is nothing but angiospermic phylogenetic group system. This is the latest phylogenetic classification, APG. This is about the systems of classification. Now coming on to different types of taxonomy. Alpha we have studied, omega we have studied, isn't it? So alpha only we are taking morphological characters. In omega, along with morphological characters, we are taking other branches like embryology, cytology, serology, or palynology. Other branches also we are taking into consideration, information from these branches. This is omega taxonomy. Coming on to another one, numerical taxonomy. Here in this taxonomy, the mathematical methods are used. To evaluate the data to classify the plants and matter. Observable differences and similarities present taxonomic groups. The mathematical methods are used, and some codes are given here. Here some numbers and codes are given to the characters. Some numbers and codes are given to the characters for the to the characters which are similar or dissimilar, such that easy classification of the plants can be done. So we are employing the mathematical methods, and the numbers and codes are given for the easy classification of the plants. Then each character is given equal importance, and at the same time hundreds of characters can be considered because codes are given. Now it's easy. So numerical taxonomy. Coming on to cytotaxonomy. Here the classification of the plants are done by taking the information from the cellular information, from the cytological characters, chromosome number, structure, So based on the information from the cytological characters like chromosome number and chromosome structure, the taxonomy is being done, and also to solve the taxonomic issues. If any problems are arising, then to classify the plants, we can take the information from the cytological characters. After cytotaxonomy, then chemotaxonomy. Chemotaxonomy is a branch of taxonomy where we are taking the phytochemical data, means about the chemical composition present in the plants, about the chemical constituents present in the plants. Phyto means plants, chemical. So the chemical composition of the plants is taken into consideration to classify the plants and also to solve the taxonomic issues. Okay, so here a branch of taxonomy that uses the phytochemical data to solve the problem of taxonomy, to solve the problem of taxonomic issues, or to solve the problem of taxonomy. Thank you.